Hey guys, it's Shauna from Heritage Creations Cut Flowers, and I have gotten in some plugs of snapdragons, campanula, and lady's mantle. And this is the first time I have gotten in plugs that I'm going to plant out in overwinter. Typically, I've done all of my seed starting and planting out and all the things. But this year, as I've expanded the garden, I decided to get plugs. Also, I decided to get plugs because I'm not so good at starting snapdragons. I've always started snapdragons, but I haven't really needed that many. And this year, well, this coming year, I felt like I needed a lot more snapdragons. I have some florists that wanted to get some snapdragons from me. So I decided that I better have some insurance policy. And my insurance policy is the plugs that I got from Farmer Bailey, which Grow and Sell is the grower of the plugs that Farmer Bailey does. So I got a 210 tray of Madame Butterfly mixed colors and a 210 tray of Madame Butterfly cherry bronze, and I've planted those out. And then I also got some campanula, which I've never grown before, and then I also got some lady's mantle, which is more of a perennial, and that can take sun to partial shade. In my region, I think I'm going to put it in an area of this garden that gets some partial shade. I haven't planted that out yet, but it all looked great when it arrived, which I'm going to show you, and I'm super excited about it. I'm also going to show you what my snapdragons look like compared to the plugs that I got, and you'll see why I got the plugs. I've never gotten snapdragon plugs. I've always grown my own, and I'm not very good at it. So this year I decided to get plugs. So I'm super excited to see what their plugs look like. Yeah. I mean, theirs are probably the same height as mine, but they look a lot better than mine. I mean, some of mine were a bit taller, but definitely not as definitely not as green and lush as mine. So anyway, and this is a whole tray of 210, whereas mine was 125, and you have no idea how many. Look, see, that one is taller. You have no idea how many seeds I started. I have no idea how many seeds I started because they weren't germinating very well. Super excited. All right, I also got campanula. Looking good. Two trays of snapdragons, so there should be another tray of snapdragons in here. And then I also got a campanula. Okay, I don't know how to say it, but it's actually lady's mantle. So we're just going to go with that. But I know I did not get a full tray of that because they've already refunded me some. There's a little bit of trouble growing it or something, which we all understand that. Nice. Look at this tray. These all look so nice and healthy. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be ever starting my snapdragons from seed ever again. Don't know. Spam's calling me. Let's see. But they all look good. I will give them some water up here, let them hang out, get planted out. I'm not really sure if, but it will be within the next couple days. I always start my snapdragons from seed, but this year I decided that since in the past I have had so much trouble starting my snapdragons from seed, I start tons of snapdragons, and I mean, I have had plenty in the past, but I know that I've had a florist ask me, she wants to buy from me this year, and I really needed more for Mother's Day this year. So I thought I will start some from seed, but I will also purchase from Farmer Bailey. I will get some plugs in, and then I'll be able to see what it looks like, what the plugs look like, all the things. Well, if you look at the plugs and the number of plugs and how much trouble it takes me to start snapdragons from seed, I think that's why I said I think I will not be starting it from seed anymore. I start in soil blocks, and I usually put several seeds on each soil block because I have so much trouble. Of course, there'll be soil blocks that have 0 germination on them, and then some that have 3 in one block. So then I take the time to prick out, 2 of those and put them in soil blocks that have none. So there's that time and energy. For some reason, when I'm growing out my snapdragons, they'll germinate, they'll get a certain height, and then it's like they stop growing. Don't know why. And they're not very big. So this year I thought, okay, since I'm growing in soil blocks and I do have plug trays, this is what I'm going to do. Potted them up into the plug trays. And then when I did that, that's when I pricked out the ones that had multiple seedlings in a soil block and put them each in separate plugs so that I didn't have multiples in each one. Obviously, that way I'd get more. So anyway, so I did all that, took all that time to start them in soil blocks, then pot them up into plug trays, and then I had them outside hardening off and pretty much grew them up outside, thinking that if they were outside it would help them to grow better. And then I also used the hoop house if it was going to get, it was going to rain too hard, the weather was too bad, that kind of thing, because they were so small. So sometimes I was taking them in and out and that kind of thing. And then finally, it's probably the beginning of October, planted them out. Now they are growing out there, but oh my goodness, I started that process later in August, September, October, all of that. There's 210 of these beautiful baby snapdragons. Okay, I have my invoice, but it doesn't tell me the price, so that's not helpful. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it depends on what variety of snapdragon you choose, but I'm pretty sure it's between $50, $60 some dollars per tray. Now, obviously that's more expensive than a $5 to $12 seed packet, but all the time and energy it took me, I think that I'm gonna go for the plug trays from now on and skip over all the time and energy it takes me with the snapdragons. Now there's certain ones I'm going to start from seed always because it's easy, I can do it, and it's definitely cost effective. But snapdragons, no, it is not cost effective for me personally. If you have good luck starting snapdragons, please give me your secrets. I struggle with the whole snapdragon. And I'm looking at these thinking they look gorgeous. Obviously, they are a grower of seedlings. It's grow and sell, and I got these through Farmer Bailey. Oh my gosh, look at these. 210. These are the Madame Butterfly Cherry Bronze. And this is the Madame Butterfly Mix right here. And then of course, this is my 120 tray of, I'm sorry. And then this is my 120 tray of the Ladies Mantle. And then this is my tray of campanula. I got all of my, let me see if I can move out of the way, right here. Got all on this row right here, all of my snapdragons planted. And then on this other row right here, half the row is my campanula. So I got in my plugs on Wednesday, and then I've had them sitting out and watering and acclimated and all the things. And then I just got all my plugs planted out. So I'm super excited about that. Let me show you my plugs. Here are my snapdragon plugs right here. I just have to give you a really nice close-up of these really nice plugs that I got in from Farmer Bailey. I have Madame Butterfly Cherry Bronze and Madame Butterfly Mixed. Look how nice all of these look. All right, let's compare them to plugs I have grown, which you can hardly see over here up against this dirt. These plugs I started in August, and they have been planted out for a couple weeks here. If I get a little bit closer. See, you can hardly see them. Let's see. I thought if I was in the shade there. Oh, look, here we have a good one. That one's looking terrible. I don't know, you can really hardly see them because they're yellow, which they really shouldn't be. So these are all the plugs I started from seed, if you can even see them. Look at some of these teeny tiny ones. Yep, these are mine. So that is just a really good comparison of plugs that you buy and plugs that Shauna starts from seed. Now we will just see how they all grow out. Oh, look, we have some good ones around right there. And one right there. And then some really not so good ones. I mean, look how tiny these are. But I mean, they have been in the tray since August, and I was just planting them out because I was tired of dealing with it. I do have a whole row of Shauna grown, and they all pretty much look like what I just showed you up close and personal. So this is, look, from here, looks like nothing. So a whole row of Shauna snapdragons. And then let's come over here to now granted the soil's darker, but the plants are much greener. A whole row of grow and sell snapdragons. Quite the difference. I've never grown these before. These are campanula. And I did get white. I don't know why I did that. I ordered these a while back, and apparently I wasn't thinking. I don't like to get white. White gets dirty easily. And I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, so now I have 210 white campanula. Now, white does look good with everything. So hopefully these will all turn out well. But the plugs themselves look really nice. Bob's putting down a layer of leaf mulch. So here you can see my snapdragons a little bit better. But just to let you know, I'm not terrible at starting all things. Here is the feverfew I started, and it's looking good. Just so you're aware that I'm not terrible at starting all things. See, Bob's working here, putting down the leaf mulch. And then over here, oh my gosh, did you see this dianthus? Look, I have a flower. Yeah, look, a dianthus flower. All right, so here's my dianthus. This is all dianthus. And then status. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. And then scabiosa. There we go. And over here, more feverfew. Just so you know, I'm not terrible at starting everything. Just apparently snapdragons. And I did start all of this yarrow from seed as well. And then check this out. My Bells of Ireland that I direct seeded is popping up right here. That was another video I did. So that is germinating. But also, we don't have anything else germinating yet. So we're still waiting on the rest of the row, which is Bupleurum, Nigella, and Larkspur. Waiting on that. Also, can you see all of that? My Ami is germinating well in this row. And then my bachelor buttons, definitely gonna have to thin those. That is germinating really well as well. And then my bread seed poppy, right here is bread seed poppy germinating. Ha! Got some of that too. I do have larkspur. Can you see all the little babies? I'm super excited. We got rain Saturday night. Rain is the magic potion, apparently. Nigella is coming up in here. And let's see. Ooh, I see some. See them there? And Buplorum. And I already showed you, but look, way more. Bells of Ireland. Yay! All right, so my direct seeded beds are starting to sprout. I'm super excited about that. It's only been a couple days, but I got all of the campanula planted out. They're still looking good. And all the snapdragon plugs are still looking fabulous. This is the area in the garden that gets kind of a decent amount of shade. So I planted the lady's mantle here. Now you're gonna see these are definitely spaced quite differently because they're a perennial and I gave them a lot of space to grow. And this is lettuce that we had already planted, but I did interplant, as you can see, the lady's mantle in the lettuce because this lettuce will be done, and then, you know, I'll need this bed to be full of lady's mantle. But these have already put on a little growth in a couple of days. Very nice. And this is only half. This whole bed is only half of the tray. And so I have planted a few in my landscape and I have some more to plant. What we had in this bed, we had planted our dahlias over here because we were thinking that they needed some shade during the hottest part of the summer, which they did okay over here, but they really weren't living their best life. So we cut them back, dug them up, and then there's this row, 1, 2, 3, 4. We put them over there in that row. So we're in 8A, and pretty much we can overwinter our dahlias. So I just dug them up, and right away put them over here in this row. The irrigation is turned off in this row. They don't need to be irrigated. They need to really just stay dry. And you can just kind of see that little tops are sticking out and they're kind of mulched and in there. Glad I did that because I had several that had little white dots on the tubers. I thought it was gall, but I looked it up and really it was a little bit of mold forming. Those beds were too wet for the dahlias. So they definitely needed to be moved to a drier spot. That's what it said. If you just moved them to a drier spot, that should clear that up. So just to kind of finish up this video, I definitely think the plugs are way better than the snapdragons that I started from seed. Again, I'll keep you updated on how they're growing throughout the winter and into the spring. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll catch up and they'll all be the same and equal and that kind of thing. I still believe that, I don't know, verdict's out. I think what I'll see is that it's still going to be cost effective for me to purchase the plugs, just for my time and that kind of thing. So we'll see. This week, we're getting in our peony roots, daffodils, ranunculus, and anemones. So we should be seeing that coming up pretty soon.